Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. I'm your host, Master Phoenix, here as always, bring you guys some more Magic the Gathering online content. Today, playing in a just casual-ish, I guess, pod of EDH. I'm up against Zerg Rush for the wins, Lycia Sanguine Tribune deck, Petsy's Lateral Blade of the Elves deck, and Big Pop Maz Raynor the Everwatchful deck. I, of course, am playing my Athreos God of Passage deck, starting off with two plains, a swamp, so both of my colors, two Shadowrun Apostles, both Citadel, and no Mercy in my hand. Alright, let's begin. I won the die roll, so I will, of course, be going first. I will begin the game by drawing my card for turn, which is a Shadowrun Apostle. I'll play Plains as my land for turn and pass. Again, not playing very optimally, I guess, here, but I do like playing my lanes in rubric order, so that's the reason for that. We're going to see Zerg play a Swamp as his land for turn. Very cool looking one at that. And he will tap it for a mana, passing turn to Petsy. We will see Petsy play a Myriad Landscape as his land for turn. One moment. Sorry, no Kunubu, so anyway. We're going to see him play a Mirrored Landscape, which are enter the battlefield tapped. And you can tap it for a colorless mana or pay 2, tap it and sacrifice it to search the library for the 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle his library after that. We're going to see him pass to Big Pop Maz, who will play Gates of Isfel, which will enter the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for a white or tap it and pay 2 a white and 2 blue. Sacrifice it, he gains 2 life and draws 2 cards. Passing turn over to me after that. I will draw into hopefully a swamp here, or an Urborg. A Fleshbag Marauder, not quite what I was hoping for. I'll play a swamp as my land for turn, tap my swamp for a Shadowrun Apostle, and pass the turn. Passing turn over to Zerg again. We're going to see him play a Graven Carns, which he can tap for a colorless, or he can pay red-black hybrid to tap for either double red, double black, or red-black. He will tap it for 2 and pass turn over to Petsy. We'll see Petsy play a Path of Ancestry as his land for turn, which will enter the battlefield tapped, and he can tap to add a mana of any color in his commander's color identity. And when that mana is spent to cast a creature type that shares the type with his commander, he can scry 1. We're then going to see him pass turn over to Big Pop Maz, who will play an island as his land for turn. And then he will tap out for Wall of Omens, which is a 0/4 wall with Defender, meaning it can't attack. It has a 1 and white casting cost, and when it enters the battlefield, he will draw a card. So he will automatically have it replace itself, passing the turn. I will then get my plains as my land for turn. Play another one I already had in my hand beforehand as my land for turn, and then I will tap out for Athreos, God of Passage. Which is a 5/4 legendary enchantment creature god for a 1, a white, and a black. And it has indestructible. It is not counted as a creature unless my devotion to white and black. combined is at least 7 or more. And whenever another creature I own dies, I can return it to my hand unless I have target opponent pay 3 life. I'm going to then proceed to combat and have my Shadowborn Apostle crack in against Petsy for 1, bringing him down from 40 to 39. As he has no blockers, I will pass the turn. He's like, what a stupid card. Yeah, I know it is dumb with Shadowborn Apostle. We're going to see Zerg play a Swamp as his land for turn and cast Read the Bones. It's a sorcery for 2 black that lets him scry 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and then he loses 2 life. He will go ahead and start off by scrying 2. It's very nice you get the card selection before you get the card draw. He's going to put 2 cards on top of his library and then draw both the cards he kept on top, losing 2 life, going from 40 down to 38. Passing turn, presumably to Pets. No, he will have to discard down to hand size, ditching a Debtor's Knell, which is an incredibly something card. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I mean, I really like it. We're going to then see Petsy begin his turn by playing a Bajuka Bog, which will enter and allow him to exile all cards from target player's graveyard, getting rid of Zerg's graveyard. Gonna see him pass the turn, so not a very strong start for someone who we know has a very low mana curve because it's presumably elf tribal. Pass the turn over the Big Pop Maz, we'll see him play a Plains as land for turn. Tap out for a Burnished Heart, which is a 2/2 artifact creature elk for 3 generic mana that he can pay 3 and sacrifice to search the library for 2 basic land cards. They do not have to share a land type. He can put them onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. I will, however, draw into Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Let's go. Hell yeah. Urborg. Okay. Alright, let's do this. We will go ahead and tap out for No Mercy. So now whenever a creature deals damage to me, it is automatically destroyed. We will proceed to combat and swing 1 at Petsy to even out the life total. So he will go from 39 down to 38 with no blockers, and I will pass the turn. Passing over to Zerg now. By the way, I just love that name. Holy shit, dude. Zerg was such an awesome villain. His character design was just awesome. We're going to see him play Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, which is a land that he can tap for a colorless mana or pay 2 and a red as well as a white to tap it and give target creature double strike until end of turn. He'll then tap out for Blood Tracker, which is a 2/2 vampire wizard for 3 and a black. It has flying. You can pay a black and 2 life to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and whenever it leaves the battlefield, he draws a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. We're then going to see Petsy play a Lenore Waste as his land for turn, which can either tap for a colorless mana or green or black mana at the cost of dealing damage to him. We're going to presumably see him tap out for Lathril here. No, we're going to see him cast Beast Whisperer, which is a 2/3 Elf Druid for 2 and double green. Whenever he casts a creature spell, he can draw a card, and he will scry one with his Path of Ancestry. It looks like he is going to lose one because he chose to tap the Lenore Waste for a green because he had to. Going from 38 down to 37. He's going to put one card on the bottom of his library, so we can see that he's having some deck problems. And then he's just going to pass turn, I assume. Beast Whisperer is, of course, a 2/3 Elf Druid. And oddly enough, the draw is mandatory, so if you happen to have an empty library, you lose the game. But anyway, that'll probably never come to fruition. So anyway, passing over the Big Pop Maz. Going to see him play a Plains as his land for turn, and either use his Burnished Heart or maybe cast Raynar. We will see him activate Burnished Heart, sacrificing it to search his library for 2 basic land cards, putting them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffling his library. He will find 2 islands. He will then also cast a Selfless Savior, which is a 1/1 dog for a single white mana that can sacrifice itself to make another target creature he controls indestructible until end of turn. So damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it, and it also doesn't die from having 0 toughness. I'll draw into a Cleanse, which I will play another one I already had in my hand prior as my land for turn. That's perfect though because I was needing a 6th land for my Bolas' Citadel. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead, tap 2 for 2 Shadowborn Apostles. And then we will tap out for Flashback Marauder, which is a 3/1 zombie warrior for 2 and a black. And when it enters the battlefield, each player will sacrifice a creature. I am actually going to sacrifice a Shadowborn Apostle here. Oddly enough. Zerg will have to get rid of his Blood Tracker. Petsy will have to get rid of his Beast Whisperer. And Big Pop Maz will get rid of his Selfless Savior. Blood Tracker is effectively wasted here as it doesn't have any +1/+1 counters on it. And doesn't have any mana to put a +1/+1 counter on it. Athreos will then trigger, I'll just point it at Petsy. Because he has the least life total. Which unfortunately is something that we have to do here is point as much damage towards a single player as possible to get them down to where we can start automatically gaining creatures back. Whether or not he pays for it doesn't really matter. Also, we do have enough devotion to make Athreos a creature. He is going to choose to pay 3 life, going from 37 down to 34. That's fine. We'll proceed to combat, and we will swing both Shadowborn Apostle at Zerg Rush and Athreos at Petsy. Zerg Rush will go from 38 down to 37, and Petsy will go from 34 down to 29 with 5 commander damage. Okay, so anyway, we're going to then see Zergrush play a Plains as his land for turn, it looks like. We'll see him cast a Blind Obedience and Lightning Greaves. Blind Obedience is an enchantment for 1 and a white with Extort, so whenever he casts a spell, he may pay white-black hybrid. And if he does, each opponent loses 1 life, and he gains as much life as everyone else at the table lost. As well, in addition to that, is artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. He will then cast a Lightning Greaves, unfortunately being unable to pay for the Extort, which is a artifact equipment for 2 generic mana that equips for free and gives the equipped creature haste and shroud. Passing turn over the Petsy, who will play a Rogue's Passage as his land for turn, tapping almost completely out, saving his Llanowar Waste for a Lathril Blade of the Elves. He'll scry 1 off his Path of Ancestry, and choose to put a card on top of his library so we can gather from that that's a card he wants. However, Lathril will enter the battlefield tapped, which is good for us, because that means that's an extra 5 damage he'll have to take. Well, he's going to take it anyway, but anyway. All the same. Apologize in there because I know it does seem kind of rude to solo focus 1 player, but we need 1 player down to 3 life or less so we can hit him with Hazardous triggers and get our creatures back. Also casting a Skull Clamp, which is an artifact equipment for 1 generic mana he can equip for 1. Give the equipped creature +1/-1, and whenever the equipped creature dies, he can draw 2 cards, which is great card draw in token decks. Well, 1/1 token decks, anyway. We're going to see Big Pop Maz play, what is it, a Plains as land for turn? No, he's not going to play any land as his land for turn yet. He's just going to straight cast Brainerd the Ever Watchful, which is a 2/3 legendary spirit warrior for 2 of white and a blue. It has flying and vigilance, so it can only be blocked by creatures at flying or reach, and it doesn't tap when attacking. The first card he foretells each turn costs 0 to foretell. Foretell is a mechanic new out of Kaldheim, and whenever a card with foretell is in your hand, you can pay 2 generic mana at any point in time during your turn, and potentially during any player's turn with a certain card. Exile it face down, you're able to look at it, and cast it on a later turn for a reduced mana cost. Also, whenever a spell or ability he controls exiles 1 or more cards from his hand and or permanents from the battlefield, he creates a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. He will then cast Momentary Blink, which is an instant for 1 and a white that exiles target creatures controls, then returns it to the battlefield under his owner's control with a flashback cost of 3 and a white. He will blink his Wall of Omens, so now he will draw a card, and he will also create a 1/1 flyer. However, both his creatures will enter the battlefield tapped, which kind of sucks. He will draw a card off the Wall of Omens, though, playing a Plains as his land for turn, and presumably passing now. Coming back to my turn, I will draw into Thespian Stage. I will play a Plains as my land for turn and tap out for Bolas's Citadel, which is a legendary artifact for 3 and triple black that allows me to look at the top card of my library at any time. I can play lands and cast spells from the top of my library. However, if I cast a spell this way, I pay life equal to its mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. I can tap it and sacrifice 10 and learn permanents during each opponent for 10. Or maybe not. Swamp on top. I'm going to go ahead and proceed to combat and have Athreos and Fleshbag Marauder swing in at Petsy, and both my Shadowborn Apostles will attack Zerg Rush. So Zerg Rush will go from 40 down to 38, and Petsy will go down from 28 life to 20 with 10 commander damage. And 5 commander damage to 20 life with 10 commander damage. And I will pass the turn. Going to see Zerg tap some lands for Alhemart's Archive, which is a legendary artifact for 5 generic mana. If he would gain life, he gains twice that much life instead. And if he would draw a card except the first one he draws in each of his draw steps, he draws 2 cards instead. He does not have any mana to pay for the Extort, so it will simply enter the battlefield, and he will pass turn after that. We're going to see Petsy untap, and let's see what he does here. You might see him go straight into combat, attack at Lathril. Nope, he's going to start doing something. He's going to tap a few of his lands. Some of his lands, he will cast Poison Tip Archer, which is a 2/3 elf archer for 2 of black and a green. It has reach, and it can block creatures with flying, and it has death touch, so any amount of damage this deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. And whenever another creature dies, doesn't matter if it's a token or not, each opponent will lose a life. He will also scry one off of his Path of Ancestry. He will enter the battlefield tapped due to blind obedience, and then he will proceed to combat. The card he scried will go to the bottom of his library. Petsy is then going to swing Lathril at Zerg Rush. Lathril, of course, is a 2/3 legendary elf noble with 2 of black and a green with menace, meaning it can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures. Whenever Lathril, Blade of the Elves, deals combat damage to a player who creates that many 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens, and she can tap herself down alongside 10 other untapped elves he controls to drain each opponent for 10. He gains 10. He will take Zerg down by 2, going from 38 to 36 with 2 commander damage, and generate 2 1/1 elf warrior creature tokens. Not even going to equip, just simply passing the turn. I want to see Big Pop Maz play an island as his land for turn. And he will cast Dream Trawler, which is a 3/5 flying lifelinking Sphinx for 2 double white and double blue. Lifelink is, of course, a keyword that lets you gain life equal to an amount of damage it deals in combat. And whenever he draws a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever Dream Trawler attacks, he draws a card, and he can discard a card that gives Dream Trawler hexproof until end of turn at the cost of tapping it. He will then pass the turn over to me. I will draw into the swamp I saw, and I have Soul Flare on top, which is a little unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and play a Thespian Stage as my land for turn. And then I will pay 2, tap it, and have it become a copy of Path of Ancestry. Oh, yeah, or Rogue's Passage. Let's go ahead and have it become a copy of Path of Ancestry. I will then proceed to combat. I want to keep Soul Flare in my hand until I have a creature flying in the yard. I'll attack Petsy with both Athreos and Flashback Marauder, and Zerg Rush with both my Shadowborn Apostles. Zerg Rush will go from 36 life with 2 commander damage down to 34 life with 2 commander damage, and Petsy will go from 20 life with 10 commander damage down to 12 life with 15 commander damage. And I will pass the turn over to Zerg Rush. We're going to see Zerg Rush enchant Lateral Blade of the Elves with Vampiric Link, which is an enchantment aura for a single black that gives the enchanted creature lifelink. And, of course, Extort will trigger. So, Petsy will go from 12 down to 11. Big Pop Mods will go from 39 down to 38. And I will go down from 39 to 38. And he will go from 37 up to 40. Lateral will now gain a lifelink. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not lifelink. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, he gains that much life. My bad, I misread that. He is then going to cast Painful Truth with 3 colors, which is a sorcery for 2 and a black with Converge. So he'll draw X cards and lose X life or X number of colors of mana spent to cast the spell. So he will draw 3 cards and lose 3 life, casting Painful Truth. So he'll go from 40 down to 37, and from 3 to 6 cards in his hand, so doubling his hand size. Unfortunately, doesn't have anything he can extort it out with, but that's fine. He's more than happy to just draw 3 cards for 3 mana. Oh, right, because Alhammer's Archive, so he'll actually go up to 9 cards in the hand. That's incredible. We'll see him play a Bloodstained Mire as his land for turn, which is a fetch land, It can tap, pay a life, and sacrifice it to search the library for a swamp or mountain card. Doesn't have to be a basic land. Put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle his library. We'll then see him tap it for a black and pass the turn. He will have to discard down the hand size, getting rid of Soren Grim Nemesis. We're going to see Petsy cast Elvish Warmaster, which is a 2/2 elf warrior for 1 and a green. And whenever one or more other elves enter the battlefield under his control, he creates a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. However, it only triggers once each turn. He can pay 5 and double green to give elves he controls +2/+2 and death touch until end of turn, which is interesting. He will scry one off his path of ancestry, not path to ancestry. He will choose to put it on the bottom of his library. Elvish Warmaster will enter the battlefield tapped. And we'll see Petsy go into combat, swinging Lathril at Zergrush, which effectively doesn't deal any damage to him because he'll gain a life that he loses with Lathril straight back, except for the fact that it will be 2 additional points of commander damage. So he'll go from 37 life with 2 commander damage down to 35 life with 4 commander damage. Then he'll go back up from 35 life with 4 commander damage to 37 life with 4 commander damage. That will also trigger Lathril. So he'll get 2 more 1/1 elf warrior creature tokens that'll enter tapped due to the blind obedience. Elvish Warmaster will trigger. He'll get an additional 1/1. He will then activate his Skull Clamp. Oh, we're also going to see Petsy play Force. This is land for turn. Equipping it onto an elf, which will go from a 1/1 to a 2/0, dying due to having 0 toughness. And then Skull Clamp will trigger, so he'll draw 2 cards. Poison Tip Archer will trigger, so now whenever another creature dies, each opponent's going to lose a life. So Zergrush will go from 39 down to 38. Pigbot Moz will go from 38 down to 37. And I will also go down from 38 to 37. He will then draw 2 cards. We're going to then see him potentially. We're going to then see him cast Elvish Archdruid, taking a point of damage off his Llanowar Waste, going from 11 down to 10. Elvish Archdruid, of course, is a 2/2 elf druid for 1 and double green. It gives other elf creatures he controls +1/+1. And he can tap to add a green mana for each elf he controls. However, it will enter the battlefield tapped off of blind obedience, of course. And after that, he's just going to pass turn. because there's nothing else he can do. During the Popmize's draw step, he will gain +1/+1 on his Dream Trawler, making it a 4/5. He will foretell a card, which will trigger Raynar, giving him a 1/1 flyer. We'll then see him cast Empyrean Eagle, which is a 2/3 bird spirit for 1, a blue and a white, which has flying, gives other creatures he controls with flying +1/+1. He will swing Raynar and Dream Trawler at Zerg. Dream Trawler will trigger, allowing him to draw a card, and Dream Trawler will also get bigger, going from a 5/6 to a 6/6. So he will take 8 points of damage, 3 of which is Commander, going from 38 life with 4 Commander down to 30 life with 4 and 3 Commander damage. I actually did play someone in paper who actually thought Commander damage stacked between all the different players, which is not how that works. It's tracked separately by each player, because that would be a mess. Sorry, 29 life with 4 Commander and 3 Commander damage. We are then going to see him pass turn to me. I will draw into the Soul Flare, and I will keep the swamp in my hand, actually, so that if I do happen to come upon a land with my top of my library, I can play it with Bolas' Citadel. I will tap my planes for a... Oh, I'm sorry, no, I won't do that. I'll just cast Heliod, God of the Sun, for life with my Bolas' Citadel, which is a 5/6 legendary enchantment creature god for 5, for 3, and a white. As indestructible, it is not counted as a creature unless my devotion to white is 5 or greater, and it gives other creatures I control vigilance. I can also then pay 2 and double white to create a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token. In addition to that, I will cast Shadowrun Apostle off the top of my library, going from 33 down to 32, and of course 36 down to 30, going from 35 down, no, I'm sorry, hang on, going from 37 down to 33, and 33 down to 32. I'll then play the planes off the top of my library with Bolas' Citadel. I'll pay another life to cast Shadowrun Apostle from the top of my library, going from 32 down to 31. I will then pay 6 life, going from 31 down to 25, and sacrifice one of my Shadowrun Apostles to cast Gormand, which is a 5/5 flying trampling demon for 4 and double black. As an additional cost to cast a spell, I must sacrifice a creature. However, when it enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature as well. I will get rid of one of my tapped Shadowrun Apostles, which will trigger Poison Tip Archer and Athreos. I'll point Athreos at Petsy. Poison Tip Archer will drain us all for once. Zero Crush will go from 29 down to 28. Big Pop Mize will go from 43 down to 42. And I will go from 25 down to 24. Petsy's going to then choose to let the Shadowrun Apostle come back to my hand. Gormand will enter, and each opponent will have to sacrifice a creature. What? Alright. Okay. So we'll see Petsy get rid of one of his elf tokens, and Big Pop Maz will sacrifice his Wall of Omens, oddly enough. That's odd. There will be 2 poison tip arch triggers, so I'll get joined from 2 for 2. Zerg Rush going from 28 down to 26. Big Pop Maz going down from 42 to 40, and I will go down from 24 to 22. I will then cast a Shadowrun Apostle off the top of my library, going down from 22 to 21. 4. Oh, beautiful. Yes! I will then tap my Urborg for a black and cast another Shadowrun Apostle from my hand. I will then pay 3 life, going down from 21 life down to 18 to cast Tabrax's Hope's Demise, which is a 2/2 legendary demon cleric for 2 and a black with flying. Has lifelink as long as it has 5 or more +1/+1 counters on it. And whenever another non-token creature I control dies, I can put a +1/+1 counter on Tabrax. If that current creature is a cleric, I may draw a card, and if I do, I lose 1 life. We're then going to see Big Pop Maz cast Mystic Reflection. So now he'll choose target non-legendary creature. Next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers in the battlefield this turn, they enter as a copy of that creature. So my Shadowrun Apostle enter as a elf token. Okay, that's fine. So I'll lose 3 life to cast Tabrax. I'll cast another Shadowrun Apostle up top of my library, going from 18 down to 17. I'll cast Court of Ambition, which is an enchantment for 2 and double black. When it enters the battlefield, I become the Monarch, and at the beginning of my upkeep, I can have each opponent lose 3 life unless they discard a card. However, from the Monarch, they instead each lose 6 life unless they discard 2 cards. So that's very nice. So I will become the Monarch. I'll go ahead and pay 2 to have my Path of Ancestry become a copy of Bojuka Bog. Which will enter and exile. Oh, right. I'm dumb. Oh well. So let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that's not quite enough. And then just because I have the extra mana left over, I'll go ahead and pay 4 to create a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token with vigilance. That's fine though. I will then proceed to combat. Can he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Unless he does next turn, which is odd. I'm going to attack Petsy with Athreos and Jergrush with both my Shadowborn Apostles and my Flashback Marauder. So Zergrush will go from 26 life down to 21 life with 4 and 3 commander damage, and Petsy will potentially block. I'm assuming he will. Yeah, he's going to block it with an Elf Warrior token. So I will go from 13 down to 12. Zergrush will go from 21 down to 20. And Big Pot Moss will go from 40 down to 39. During my end step, I'll go from 13 to 12. I will draw into a Cabal Coffers because I am the Monarch, and that will be good enough for me. Let's see, Zergrush, play, what was it, a Swamp? Rugged Prairie as his land for turn, which you can tap for a colorless mana or pay a red-white hybrid and tap for either double red, double white, or red-white. Love those lands. Let's see, Zerg cast a Chromatic Ray on the turn, which is an artifact for 3 generic mana that gives lands you control tap to add a mana of any color. You can tap Chromatic Lantern to add a mana of any color as well. Worth noting, it does actually have the Strixhaven icon. Okay, so if I can untap, I win. The question is, do I live that far? Do I get to that point? we're going to see Zerk cast Tithe Drinker, which is a 2/1 vampire lifelink and extort for white and a black. Paying to extort it, I'm going to go down from 11 life down to 10. Patsy will go down from 9 life to 8. And Big Pop Moz will go from 38 down to 37. Zerk going from 26 up to 29. No, he's not choosing to extort it. Odd. When you see him cast Spirit Link on Dream Trawler, which is an enchantment aura for a single white mana, and whenever Dream Trawler deals damage to him, he's going to gain that much life. We are all going to lose 1 off the extort. He will equip the Lightning Graves to Tithe Drinker to give it Shroud and Haste. And pass the turn. Waiting on Petsy. He's going to go straight to combat. Boy, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Dangerous game we're playing here, boys. He is! He's doing it! Wait, wait, wait. Is he going for us? Maybe? No? Keeping it back. He realizes he can block. Pass, 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 pass! Yay! Woo, he passed! Well, I mean, not really. Excuse me, not really, but effectively. Oh my god, he is gonna pass. Is he? I think I just won. Technically, Big Pop Moz could still kill me. I'm not sure he would do it because that means he would lose his creatures. But anyway, he'll draw a card up and Dream Trawler will get bigger. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh man, I'm looking at my seat. Oh, it's so exciting. This is literally their one chance to kill me. Literally their one chance. No! That messes up my turn! We're gonna see him use Curse of the Swine, targeting 4 of my Shadowrun Apostles. Is a sorcery for X in double blue, exiling X target creatures, and for each creature exiled this way, its controller gets a 2/2 green board creature token. So I'm going to lose 4 of my 5 Shadowborn Apostles, and I'll get 4 2/2 boars. And then Raynar will produce a 1/1, a 2/2 flyer actually. Oink oink, motherfucker. Oink oink. I need like 7 Shadow. Okay, that's a bit much, but I need like 5 Shadowborn Apostles back to back. Oh no, I think I'm dead. No. Oh, he's killing him! He's killing him! He's swinging Dream Trawler at Petsy, Empyrean Eagle at Zerg, and the tokens at me. Dream Trawler will get bigger. Petsy will go down from 8 to 2. Zerg Rush will go from 36 up to 38, and from 38 down to 37, 34. No, I mean, 38 down to 36, and I'll go down from 10 to 6. Oh shit, that's why he attacked me. That way he can be the Monarch. Okay. It's okay. I should have enough to just straight up kill Petsy now. Like enough creatures, that is. Oh, of course I have game. I can kill him. I can swing him in. I can swing at him in the air. Okay. Okay, I do need to be careful here. He's got 4 flyers. I have 2. Okay. So I actually cannot let Petsy live because he can kill me basically anytime he wants. He is going to have Poison Tip Archer, block Dream Trawler. So they'll trade. The Archer Poison Tip Archer, Zergros will go from 32 down to 31. Pop Maz will go from 37 down to 36, and I'll go down from 10 to 9. I'll get 2 No Mercy triggers, destroying both the tokens. Okay, alright. So Big Pop Maz will become the Monarch. Okay, so he has 3 flyers. I have 2. We'll see him play an island as his land for turn. And he will cast Seagate Oracle, which is a 1/3 human wizard for 2 and a blue. And when it enters the battlefield, he looks at the top 2 cards of his library, put 1 into his hand and the other on the bottom of his library. And then he will proceed to his end step and draw a card because he's the Monarch. And then it will be my turn. Court of Ambition will trigger. You're going to see Big Pop Maz discard Geist Armored Monk. Petsy discards Big Pop Maz. We'll see Petsy discard a Swamp. And Zergrush will take 3 life. I'll draw into Shadow Apostle. Mm-hmm. Let's play, just in case Heliod Suncrown is on top, we'll play the Plains. Archery into Depravity. Tap Swamp for Shadowborn Apostle. Proceed to combat. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 creatures need to go at him. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'll go like this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so unless he has a Heroic Intervention, Petsy's dead. Which sucks that we had to kill him, but we literally had no choice. We literally had no choice. He was going to be able to kill us anytime he wanted. It is a cleric. Nice. Okay, so Patsy dies. Big Hot Maz goes from 42 life down to 34 at 5 commander damage. I become the Monarch. I will create another cleric. What's my devotion? 16. I'll create another cleric again. Pass turn. Draw a card. Arching of Depravity, thank you very much. Up next was Unshackled. Yep. One, two, three flyers. He can't kill me. He doesn't have enough. I'm gonna see him play a Windscarred Crag, Zerg play a Windscarred Crag going from up from 39 to 40. Oh. Let's see here. Tell you what I'm gonna do, you guys. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this video into 2 parts because otherwise I'm just not going to be able to record all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here, and I'll put the second part up later. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been your host, Card Master Phoenix, signing out. See you guys next time. Have a good one.